How's it going, everyone? Back with another episode on Pod Hop with Rampton. Today's episode is going to be about the different denominations or sectors of rap and looking on how these different rappers have made it to the top, even though they have really different styles. Okay, so every genre, if be it rap, jazz, or I don't know, classical music, each one has a different sector. They have different types of each genre. And the rap and hip hop is absolutely no different. There are multiple, but the three things I'm going to look at is a new upcoming genre, mainstreamed by XXX with just a much more gloomy, a very dark, darkish way of rapping. With the deep lyricism, it's like a combination of I don't know, like trap with just a gloomy backstory behind it. So XXX Tentacion and I want to say Ski Mask the Slump Dog really popularized this in a much more to Ski Mask really did it underground. XXX did underground. Now he's mainstreaming it, especially now that he's on XXL. Okay, so these guys are really setting up a new path for rap and hip hop. I'm not sure if it's going to be short term and long term. If I'm going to put my money, it's going to be short term, but it's still going to be successful in the next coming years. And I've really been seeing this a lot on Soundcloud, where a lot of new rappers are really focusing their attention more towards, the flow and style, the beats of what XXX and Slump Mask and Ski Mask are doing, and that's fine. But just remember, if anyone's going to plan to do that, that's much more short term in my view, and a lot of other producers and record labels find that. Right now, it's pretty successful. So if you're good with it, go with it. Now, another thing would be what I call the backseat bumpers. These people feature like Playboy Cardi, Lil Pump. These people don't really have. They don't have lyricism, like a deep meaning behind it. They don't really have a nice flow, and they have a nice flow, but it's not really deep behind it. It's basically featured by ad libs and a bass and good producing. These three aspects really make up these backseat bumpers. There's something that, these songs are more so something you listen in the car, something that you give the aux cord to the person in the backseat, and then you just start bumping to it. I guess songs like Magnolia, songs like Flex Like Ooh. These songs are what I call backseat bumpers. These are pretty mainstream and trending right now. A lot of SoundCloud rappers are doing the same thing. Once again, but this time I feel like this is a much bigger impact onto rap and hip hop right now, and this, in my opinion, will last longer at least than what XXX is doing with his more darker side. Now, I'm not saying XXX won't be successful at it. He will be successful, but I think the new upcoming rappers won't be as successful as what they're trying to get with XXX. If you take the path of what Playboy Cardi really, like him or not, he really impacted a lot on how to get popular in rap and hip hop. He really changed the entire vibe of how rap and hip hop basically is in terms of on the radio, trending, and all that stuff. You just really need a nice beat, and credit goes a lot to the producers behind it that are fixing this music. So I think that's another sector behind that, the backseat bumpers. And then you stick with the true almost old school, I want to say now, but not really. But compared to other rappers, they are Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Kanye, Jay-Z. These people are really going back to the deep roots. See, these people don't have to follow the trends of others because they've set the trend for themselves. They're so popular, they're so massive, all right, that they don't have to go more towards a very like an 808 beat. They don't have to go towards that. They don't have to steer away from their flow to a different type of flow just to be popular. Right now, it might be having a nice backseat bumper with a serious bass. But if Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole came out right now with an album, theirs would be much more popular, even though it's different than what people want right now. It's because they appreciate they have a huge fan base. Now, if you want to start off as a rapper right now, that's a pretty hard path to follow because there are so much. And that's not really what the demand is. However, you can still be successful in the long term. Now, these three sectors of hip hop are really something to look forward in the future, especially with the backseat bumpers, which is all about basically a lot about the bass, and then XXX is more mainstreamed of the more gloomy side and very deep lyricism on stuff like that. But you gotta, if you're an upcoming rapper, you really gotta focus yourself on what are you trying to do. Are you going for short-term success? What are you trying to get right now? Or are you looking for really long-term success that you can have in the future, have a really big legacy? And that's the end of today's podcast. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This was Rampton with PodHop. Come back for the next episode.